Students, now let us continue with mental health. So after understanding about in detail about occupational health, now let us move on to the next important topic, mental health. So what is this mental health? So let us understand the definition. The state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to her or his community. Okay, so that is meant by mental health, not just the absence of mental disorders. So it is not the absence of any mental illness. So mental well-being is a state of well-being in which every individual, each person realizes his own potential. We will be able to cope up with those challenges in the life and can have a normal stresses in life. He can bear his stresses, he can overcome that, and at the end he should be productive and fruitful to others. Okay, he should not be burden to his family or the community. In fact, he should be helpful to others, and that helpfulness should contribute to the community for the development of the country. So then that person is said to be mentally healthy. Okay, it is not just mere absence of mental disorder. So what is this history, how this mental concept came into existence? We all know that the definition of health by the WHO as mental health a key component. So as to remember it, the word health is defined as complete state of physical and mental well-being. So it takes an equal importance as that of physical health. So let us see how it started. So before, mentally ill were considered to be possessed by devils. They used to think that they are being overtaken by the devil's soul, spirit. Patients were locked up and alienated from the rest of the society. They were decasted and they were developed inferiority complex. They were outcasted. Okay, they were isolated from their family and they were locked up. Okay, for their behavior. By 20th century there was advancement in psychiatry. Okay, then the treatment started. For example, insulin coma therapy, electric shock treatment, later tranquilizer. These are all the boon in the development of psychiatry. Okay, then there were hospitals, admissions, treatment in general hospital also started. This is a brief history how it mental illness were considered previously and how there is advancement and we started giving equal importance for mental health as similar to physical health. What is the problem statement? How is the existence of these mental diseases in the community compared with the physical illness? Okay, what is the status of this? Mental disorders are truly universal. Maybe a physically ill person also can have a problem with mental diseases, mental distress, depression. Okay, so neuropsychiatric conditions had an aggregate point prevalence of about 10% for adults. So you can imagine 10% of the diseases contribution is from the neuropsychiatric. Either it is due to the problem with the disorders with the nervous system or disorder with the psychiatric, that is behavioral component. So 10%, it accounts for the 10% for adults. There is no data available for children at this point. Like example, unipolar depressive disorders, alcohol use disorders, schizophrenia, bipolar affective disorder, Alzheimer's and other dementia. These are the few neuropsychiatric conditions which is having major contribution in the health of an individual. So what are the characteristics of these mentally health persons? How they will be? Mentally healthy person has three main characteristics. Okay, he feels comfortable about himself and has self-respect. He feels right towards others, is able to feel a part of the group and like and trust others. Okay, he is able to meet the demands of life, able to think for himself and take his own decision, sets reasonable goals for himself and is not bowled over by his own emotion of fear. anger, love, or guilty. These are the three main characteristics where we can say a person is mentally healthy. He is comfortable about himself and his surrounding. Yes, he can give respect for the others. He always feel he is right towards others. What others saying is correct. He understands. Okay, he can able to trust others, and also he is able to meet the demands of the life. Able to think for himself and his family. He can take his own decision, set reasonable goals for himself. He has an ambition for his life, and he can overcome his anger, emotion, fear. Yes, he can control all this. Okay, if he is not able to control, he is simply getting angry for each and everything. So we have to think that he is having some stress, some behavioral problem. Yes, maybe he is in the borderline. Okay, so those are the factors will determine a person is mentally healthy or not. So, what are the warning signs of these poor mental health? Yes, each one may be going through all this. Okay, so how we can able to understand about this? Okay, so difficulty in sleeping, mood swings, becoming angry, losing your temper all the time, letting yourself go, lack of self respect, taking drugs or alcohol, losing touch with reality, becoming isolated, feeling that life's not worth living, harming yourself or others, lack of self esteem, difficulty in sleeping, mood swings. Okay, these are all the 12 or 13 I mentioned here. They are the warning signals. So, if it is just having one mood swings, okay, that may not be okay, but they are the warning signal. Yes, you have to take care of your mental health if you are having mood swings. Yes, you are becoming angry for small things. Yes, something is bothering and disturbing your mental status. Yes, you have to take care. So that is a warning signal. So what you are becoming isolated, you don't want to mingle with others. So that is also an indication that you are having some mental stability is disturbed. So you need to take care of your health. Okay, mental health. Harming yourself or others. Okay, you are hurting yourself. Okay, thinking that you are of no use, or thinking of others and hurting them, even that is a warning signal. Then losing your temper, that is getting angry, lack of self-respect. You should have your self-respect. Okay, nothing, life is not there without having any self-respect. So these are all the different warning signals of poor mental health. So now let us understand what is mental illnesses. Mental or behavior illness is characterized by a disturbance in thinking, mood, or behavior which is out of keeping with cultural beliefs and norms. In most cases, symptoms are associated with distress and interference with the personal function. Most of these disorders can be successfully treated. So, it is characterized by disturbances in thinking, mood, behavior, okay, which is out of keeping with the cultural beliefs and norms. These are all like rules and regulation, okay, in any community. So, your thinking is beyond that or weird, away from your cultural beliefs, then you have to think that your mental status is disturbed. What are the symptoms of these mental disorders? Mental disorders produce the symptoms that sufferers or close to them they notice. These are include physical aches and sleep disturbance. Sleep disturbance is one commonest physical symptom. Emotional, feeling sad, scared, or anxious. Then what is the cognitive? Your thinking, your ability, difficulty thinking clearly. Everything is not at all even not possible for you to make a decision. Abnormal beliefs, okay. Then a memory disturbance, that is your cognitive, the level of thinking, okay, it is drops down. Behavioral, behaving in an aggressive manner, inability to perform routine daily function, excessive use of substances, okay, here it is maybe the drug abuse or alcohol or smoking, so that becomes very excessive. Perpetual, seeing or hearing the things that others cannot, okay, that is called delusions, hallucinations, okay. Those are all the perpetual symptoms. So the symptoms can be physical symptoms, sleep disturbances and aches, emotional, feeling sad, scared or anxious, cognitive difficulty thinking clearly and abnormal beliefs, behavioral, behaving in an aggressive manner, inability to perform the daily routine and excessive use of drug abuse. Perpetual, seeing or hearing the things that others cannot. So these are all the few commonest mentioned symptoms of mental illness. Specific early signs vary from disorder to disorder. People who experience one or more of the symptoms listed above are encouraged to seek professional help if the symptoms persist, cause significant distress or interfere with the task of day-to-day life. Okay, then your warning signal has become alarming signal. Immediately you should meet your doctor and take care of your health. What are the types of these mental illness? Mental illness can be separated into two categories. One is psychotic illness and other is very easy, non-psychotic. Psychotic, non-psychotic. What are these psychotic illness? Psychosis is a condition which affects the mind and results in some loss of contact with the reality. When someone experiences the psychosis, their thoughts become disordered and they have difficulty in knowing what is real and what is not. They develop delusions, hallucinations, illusion, etc. So it mainly affects the mind and results in some loss of contact with the reality. They will be in somewhat different world, okay. They lost totally contact with the reality. Examples: delusions, hallucinations, etc. Okay. So there are different types of psychosis: brief reactive psychosis, drug induced psychosis, organic psychosis. What is this brief reactive psychosis? This occurs suddenly in response to severe stress such as bereavement or severe trauma. This lasts for less than a month. Suddenly there is a stress trauma, post traumatic, okay. So there the person will be, his mind will not be able to understand, because the impact of whatever he has suffered will be such an extent that he will become will be not related to his reality or the present thing, okay. So that is it. That is why the word brief reactive psychosis. Drug induced psychosis. This is brought about on by the use of drugs such as cannabis, LSD, speed or magic mushrooms. This usually lasts for only a few months, okay. These drug induced, so many times it happens to be the side effect of many higher drugs, okay. So drug induced, few are mentioned here like cannabis, LSD, okay. Organic psychosis can appear when someone suffers from a head injury or a physical illness which disrupts the brain functioning. Examples: Alzheimer's disease. Okay, here it is organic. You can know the disturbance in your head injury or anything in your brain functioning is disrupted. Your neurons are disturbed or affected. So, for the best example is Alzheimer's disease. There you can find the behavior of the person differs. Okay. Then we have schizophrenia, schizophreniform, then schizoaffective disorder. Schizophrenia, it is a psychotic illness which changes the behavior for at least 6 months. They keep on changing, so, okay, for up to 6 months, then he is called a schizophrenic. Schizophreniform is a psychotic illness that lasts for less than 6 months. If it is less, it is only just schizophrenic form. More than 6 months, schizophrenia. We can call him as schizophrenia. Affective disorder. What happens here? Affective is a psychotic illness which is not typical of a mood disorder or a schizophrenia. So it is just like a affective disorders. So we classify the psychotic illness in a different types. We have bipolar disorder, otherwise called mania depression. It is characterized by extreme mood swings between depression and high mania. There will be depression, suddenly the people will be excited more, high maniac. Okay, so that is called bipolar, the two extremities of emotions. Psychotic depression, it is a depression with the psychotic symptoms without highs, okay, that is without higher excitement, mania. Most people who experience a psychotic illness are able to live full and independent lives with an effective medication and support. Non-psychotic illness. Non-psychotic illness occurs when the everyday feelings of depression, sadness, tension, anxiety or fear becomes so overwhelming that people have difficulty coping with day-to-day activities such as work, recreation and relationship. That is like a slow dose. Okay, the PA patient will every day feel the sadness, depression, tension, anxiety. So that and suddenly becomes overwhelming. So it is a day-to-day activity. In activities, he will be suffering. So that is called non-psychotic illness. So for example, what are these non-psychotic illness? Includes agoraphobia, panic disorder, social disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, eating disorder, some form of depression. Most non psychotic illness can be assisted by treatment such as education, counseling, cognitive behavioral therapy, or in some cases, meditation. Okay, so these treatments may help to develop new ways of thinking about and dealing with their illness. So now let us understand the causes of this mental illness. First, organic conditions, okay, that will give rise to mental illness. Sometimes hereditary contributes, sometimes the socio-pathological causes have a greater role in mental illness. So only these two factors and organic conditions are main contribution in the illness. So what are the causes? Organic conditions: cerebral atherosclerosis, neoplasms, okay, neurological disorders, chronic diseases. These are all organically affecting your brain and neurons. Okay, next is hereditary. Yes, contributes. Okay, parents, grandparents, yes, maybe contribution is there. Psychosocial factors. What are the socio-pathological problems? Worries, anxieties, emotional stress, tension, frustration, unhappy marriages, broken homes, poverty, urbanization and economic insecurity. We can add on the list to these psychosocial factors, which are all the important causes for mental illness. Environmental factors: toxic substances like mercury, carbon disulfide, lead compounds, etc. Psychotropic drugs like barbiturates, alcohol, griseofulvin. Nutritional factors: deficiency of thiamine and pyridoxine. Yes, they are responsible for myelination. Minerals: deficiency of iodine. Okay, infectious agents: measles, rubella, all have an impact on the brain. Okay, traumatic factors: road and occupational accidents and radiation also is a important factor causes for the development of mental illness. So what are the crucial points in the life cycle of the human being from womb to tomb? How the human life is being what influenced by these causing factors and they suffer the mental illness. Let's see. Perinatal period: pregnancy is a stressful period for some women. Okay, they need help not only for their physical but also the emotional needs, mainly because there will be lot of hormonal changes are happening, lot of physiological phenomena changes happening in the women. These imbalances between the hormonal and the physiological, yes, if a woman is very susceptible, she can go for mental suffering. So there we need to support her, and it is a must, okay, in the perinatal period. Next, pediatric age. Okay, the children are next susceptible. First 5 years of life, infant and young child should experience warm, intimate and continuous care. They need lot of love and care. Everything that happens in the school affects the mental health of the child. The children who have emotional problems may need child guidance clinic and psychiatric services. Coming to adolescence, yes, adolescence is again an important milestone in the life of a human being. Yes, there is a lot of now a child, if under 5, will be now transforming into becoming an adolescent to the young adult with lot of physiological changes and the hormonal changes happening both in the boy and a girl. So the basic need of adolescents here need to be needed by others. They want more attention, need for increasing independence. Also they need lot of independence. They don't want to depend on parents for small things. They want to show that they are heroic. Okay, need to achieve adequate adjustment to the opposite sex because there are a lot of hormonal, and that is why they need a lot of adjustment. Need to rethink the cherished beliefs of one's elder. Okay, so this is all about adolescents. Now in the old age, again they are more susceptible. Here the organic conditions of the brain, because the senility changes develops, Alzheimer's, dementia will develop in the old age. Economic insecurity, yes, they would have retired, they got, they'll be not fit enough to work as they were working earlier, so this will have mental instability and they will go for economic instability, lack of home. Okay, if they are not well placed, well settled, yes, they have that problem. Poor status and insecurity, and health also, because of senility changes will be deteriorating, and the children would have been grown up if they are not taking care of them well. So these are all the problems, and old age people will suffer and they will be more prone for mental illness. Thus, throughout his life, the needs of man remains the same. Okay, throughout from the life cycle, man needs all these factors to achieve mental well-being: need for affection, need for belonging, need for independence, need for achievement, need for recognition or approval, need for sense of personal worth, need for self actualization. Okay, so now let us see what are the preventive aspects. Yes, this is a nice diagram. You can see prevention, then we should try to prevent earlier, then at least try to do early intervention if they start developing, then the last is the treatment and recovery is the next. You can see here nice beautiful diagram. Okay, planning for prevention and early intervention plan. All groups, community wide prevention services should be there. For some groups like children, youth, adults and older adults, they are the priority groups, and again in the early intervention is needed for some individual more susceptible like a children, youth, adults and older adults. Again, when the treatment comes, the treatment services and supports for individuals with severe mental illness and serious emotional disturbances. After treatment, recovery services and supports for the individual with severe mental illness and serious emotional disturbance. Yes, these are all the preventive aspects. So here is one more diagram. Okay, you can see very nice how the recovery is possible. It's possible through the few emotional component are understanding, the inner circle you can see, understanding, trust, respect, competence, hope, spirituality, choice and wellness finally leads to wellness. These are all the stages for a recovery from the mental health. Next, what are the other community aspect? Consumer centered, yes, culturally competent, okay, meet the special needs. Next is the natural support should be there. Next, there should be flexibility should be there. They should be coordinated well. They should be accountable. Then strength based and consumer centered. These are all the services how it should be available for the mental people. It should be consumer centered. It should be culturally competent. That means they should be able to accept. They should meet the special needs. Then should they naturally flexible, supportive and coordinated well and accountable, and they should be strength based. So how can a government can provide all this treatment and support? Family and friends have a big role. Peer support is there, should be there. Meaningful work, income support, community mobility, community groups and organization, protection and advocacy, psychiatric rehabilitation, leisure and recreation, education, housing, health care. So finally the treatment and support all will help us and make the mentally ill people recover from their mental illness. Okay, so we celebrate for World Mental Health Day on 10th October every year. It was first proclaimed by World Federation for Mental Health in 1992. It is co-sponsored by WHO. It requests the member states to promote the mental health and the healthy behavior using the commemoration of the World Mental Health Day on every 10th October. So what are the themes we have celebrated these? Okay, every year we keep an objective and work towards that, meeting that objective throughout the year. Okay, in 2007, so mental health in a changing world, the impact of culture and diversity. 2006, building awareness, reducing the risk, mental illness and suicide. 2002, the effects of trauma and violence on children and adolescents. In 2015, we had 15 and 16, we have mental depression, speak up, and express your feelings. Okay, so mental health program is the national mental health program was launched during 1982 with the view to ensure comprehensive mental health care program includes all the community facilities pertinent in any way to prevention, treatment and rehabilitation. So what are these essential elements in this mental health program? Inpatient services, outpatient services, partial hospitalization, emergency services and diagnostic services. Yes, we admit the patient, we can see the patients on OPD also. If they require, we give them partial hospitalization. If there are emergencies, yes, we can admit them on the emergency and we can do the diagnostic procedures. Pre-care and after-care services including the foster home placement and home living, home visiting, educational series, training, research and evaluation. Okay, so these are all the important component under National Mental Health Program. Okay, so that completes the mental health chapter. Yes, and I hope you have understood, and you should be very well know about what is the definition of mental illness. You should know the different types of mental illness, what are the causes for the mental illness, and you should enumerate the different causes for mental illness, and what are the care component of the preventive component of this mental illness, and what is the government doing, and how WHO we are celebrating October 10th as World Mental Health Day. Okay, so this completes mental health. So thank you all. Stay home and be healthy. So we'll meet again in the next session. Thank you all.